It's been almost 2 years since Breath of the Wild got released on that fateful day in March of 2017, which is already scary because I've put over 200 hours into that game, and it's already been 2 years since that game's been released. But putting that aside, the big question that every Zelda fan has had on their minds for really a while now, really all year since since the hype for Breath of the Wild died down after long enough, what is the next game going to be? And now, I'm not gonna come out and have any claims or say anything. There's just speculation and theories and ideas that I have. The first one of which is the idea that they will take other big titles, like other 3D titles like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword in particular, and make HD remakes of them and port them to the Switch. That is very much a possibility after Miyamoto had come out at a meeting or a convention of some sort after a symphony had played some music and said and had said along the lines of, "So you've been waiting for Skyward Sword," or something like that. Something along the lines of, here's what you wanted, Skyward Sword. We didn't get any reveals, but that raised a lot of eyebrows of being like, what do you mean Skyward Sword? Are you going to port it to the Switch in HD? Which, if they did, I would be super glad, because I never actually got a chance to play Skyward Sword. I never had a Wii, surprisingly. Actually, no, I think I had a Wii, but I didn't have Skyward Sword because the Wii, hardly worked. But, putting that aside, if they did do that, I would definitely get it, and that would open up a lot more possibilities to Wind Waker HD again, to Twilight Princess HD, to so many things. Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask HD on the Switch. And what would that be like? I don't have really any ideas to what it would look like, but it's a very cool it'd be a very cool idea, and I'd honestly just be throwing hundreds of dollars at Nintendo to get these games, because I never actually got a chance to play most of them. Another idea that has been floating around is a new 2D Zelda. The last time we had a 2D Zelda game was 2013, I believe, with The Link Between Worlds. Actually, no, it was 2015 with Triforce Heroes. But that game was more focused on a multiplayer base, and you couldn't really play the game single player. So the last single player 2D Zelda was A Link Between Worlds in 2013, and that game, I loved that game. I had so much fun with it. It was a very fun game. It was very aesthetically pleasing and charming, and it would be very cool to see an HD, not an HD Link Between Worlds, but a whole new HD title on the Switch for a 2D Zelda. That it's something that me along with many other fans have been looking to for a while now, especially since Breath of the Wild came out. I wanted to see another 2D game, and it would be, I don't really know what it could be like, because again, it's Nintendo. They could surprise us at any time. This is all just speculation and theory. But it would just be, it seems something that seems very likely, because the 2D Zelda team has had pretty much 4 years now to work on whatever they want, to work on whatever they've been wanting to work on. And I'm very open to anything that they do. But the big elephant in the room is the obvious new 3D, new open world game. Because as Aonuma put it, he wants the rest of the 3D Zelda games, or even all Zelda games from now, to have an open world feel. Now, that would be along the likes of Breath of the Wild, and would be very similar to it. Breath of the Wild, I loved that game. It was a great game, had so many great things to it, but it wasn't perfect. The Divine Beasts, I loved them, but they definitely had flaws. They had many flaws. The bosses were all very similar, but again, no game's perfect. It was a very great game. I loved that game, and many people did. You can't call it a bad game. It's not a bad game. It's a great game. It won Game of the Year. So I feel like for the next couple, or even just the next Zelda game, they'll stick with the same engine, and I want them to, because the Breath of the Wild world looked beautiful. It wasn't too realistic to the point where it didn't look pretty, and it wasn't too cartoony to the point where it looked too cartoony. It was a perfect mix, in my opinion, which is one of the big points of that game, which is one of the reasons why everybody loved it. What they could do in terms of story or whatever, I don't know. Clearly, they want to leave the timeline up to us. What I've settled with, and what a lot of people settled with, is that it happened, that the game happens no matter what timeline. If Link kicks Ganon's butt in Ocarina of Time, if he gets absolutely destroyed, or if it didn't happen in general, Breath of the Wild will happen no matter what, which is a very good thing, because in my opinion, it feels like it resets the timeline. Because they also set it so far down the timeline that all these past things didn't affect it. And that's why it happens no matter what. It's so far down the timeline that these things that happened millennia ago don't matter. And that's a really cool thing for me, because now I feel like they can start focusing more on a timeline if they want to, or they'll leave it up to us. But either way, I hope that they don't stray too far from what Breath of the Wild did, but fix the mistakes that Breath of the Wild did, because then we'll have a 2017 Breath of the Wild all over again. It'll be Breath of the Wild, but better. I think that is it, though. Those are the three those are the three things that I wanted to talk about for Zelda in the future. Again, HD ports and remakes of a bunch of games. Wind Waker again, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, most in particular. A new 2D Zelda, which could come out next year. And the ports. The ports and remakes could come out totally next year, like with what Miyamoto or Aonuma said. I forgot which one. So what have you been waiting for? Skyward Sword. And yes, I have in particular, because I never got to play that game. A new open world 3D Zelda will not come out next year, or it won't come out depending on when you're seeing this. If you're seeing this in 3 days, it'll be 2019, which is crazy. It won't come out next year. It won't come out in 2019. I'm calling it right now. I would love it if they prove me wrong, but it seems too crazy for them to make another one in 2 years. Obviously, if they stuck with the same engine, they totally could. And again, I want this all to happen, but the most likely, in my opinion, is HD remakes and a new 2D Zelda. But with that being said, I've been Inferno. Though there should be one or two new videos coming out soon. But yeah. With all that being said, I've been Inferno, and I'll see all you beautiful people again next time.